So we did it. Congratulations. It's been a great couple of days, and I know that there's been a ton of information that's shared. So what do we do with that? And if you remember, we said our goal as research ambassadors is to keep the conversation going. And we are in this position where we're very fortunate and very unfortunate to live in a world where information travels at the speed of light, right? We know everything always instantly. And so part of keeping that conversation going is understanding that information is needed to make really difficult decisions that we have to make. Misinformation travels just as quickly. So part of our role as research ambassadors is to hopefully keep trying to uncover the right information and keep the right conversations going. And we're so lucky to have the team of scientists that we do to back us up on that. So how do we do that? How do we take action? What do we do from here? And I can't remember, like Rick talks about how this is his 21st or 22nd CRLI. I think this is my 10th. I'm not exactly sure, you do lose count, but I so remember that feeling of sitting there thinking, what do I do with this? What is required of me? What if I don't meet the expectations? How much do I have to do? And I just want to tell you, there is nothing like that. There is no test. There's no, you have to do so many things. Absolutely not. Well, actually, I think Lyle might have given us a quiz yesterday and Eric might have this morning in the statistics, but those are the only tests. There's no more. So moving forward is a really, really personal decision. And I want to be able to sit here and tell you, this is how you do it, and this is what you do, and here's your next step. But spoiler alert, I can't do that because it is a really personal choice. It's about taking what you've listened to today and finding where your heart is. Maybe you came into this as a really strong advocate and you already know your direction. Maybe you came into this as an advocate and you didn't realize there were other directions that you're just as interested in or maybe more interested in. So the very base of what we do is talk about your story. And when I say that, I want to really put that in context that I understand. So my husband's journey, our journey with ALS, he was very, very private, very to himself, didn't want people to see him, didn't want people to know. So when I say share your story matters, only ever, of course, share what you're comfortable with. And whatever you are comfortable sharing is going to be enough to get your message across. But it starts the conversation, it makes you real, and it's what connects all of us together. And it happens at many levels. I know we talk about the big stuff. We talk about all those people who are involved in advocacy at such a large level that they're in Washington, D.C. and hey, I met with this senator or whatever, and maybe that isn't you, and maybe that feels really overwhelming, and you just are happy being grateful to those people, because that's me. I've been to Washington, D.C. for advocacy once, and it was a really overwhelming experience. So find where you are. And these are just some examples, like you don't even maybe think about it or know that you're already an advocate. So for example, if you go to your doctor and something happens at your clinic and you say, I really wish this could happen, or if you did this, it would really help me. That doctor then goes away and says, if it works for that person, it might also work for the next person. And you might have just created some kind of change that helps somebody down the line. Or like in my example, if I'm messaging Lyle at all hours of the night with questions, maybe he's thinking, maybe if she has that question, everybody has that question, and we should do something about that. So don't downplay how important your communication and your conversations are, no matter what level you decide to get involved. But everybody needs to start somewhere, right? So advocating is a strategy, and think it through. All of the work comes up front in deciding what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and then doing it is the fun part. So the very first thing you want to do is you want to really, really think about what it means to you to be an advocate, and realistically, with everything else you have going on in your life, what you want to contribute, how much time, how much energy, and who you want to work with. So here's a little cheat sheet. And this is a oversimplified, because I'm really good at oversimplifying things, of how to kind of approach thinking about this is make it realistic or attainable. I remember I don't remember which class it was, Eric, you might remember, but one of the CRLIs that we were in person, and I got to this slide and I was talking about having a purpose, pick an issue. And for whatever reason, what came into my mind was total world domination as my purpose and my issue. And I don't know why, but that's what came up. And then all of a sudden, everybody was scared of Allison and, oh my gosh, what is she up to? But whatever your purpose or your issue is, make it realistic and attainable. Or, you know what, if you want to shoot for the stars, go ahead. Just make your goals attainable in between there, and find somebody who, when you tell them that your goal is total world domination, that they don't call the FBI. They actually say, hey, if anybody could do it, you can, you got this. You know, you need a support person. And if you feel like you don't have that in your life, I'm 100% sincere when I say, call me, text me, email me, I'll be that person for you. And I promise I won't call and tell anybody. Like, whatever your vision is, your purpose, your issue, I'll support you in believing in that issue and getting it done. So think about it. You have your goals, figure out what kinds of things can accomplish those goals, who can help you get there, like just all the little details that you do in your everyday life, especially if you're like a mom or a dad, you do this every day for other things. Put those same kind of boundaries around what you want to do with the knowledge you have about clinical research. And there are a ton of resources that can help you. Mainly, now that you're a research ambassador, you have access to all these great scientists who participate in this program and who are willing to answer our questions directly, which is fantastic. But as you've learned, we're part of NEALS. And NEALS is an organization full of wealth. If you go on to full of wealth of information, not full of wealth, or maybe they are, I don't know. But neals.org, if you go out to their website, there's so much information and it's continuously updated. So you can always use that as a resource. And these are just random resources that I picked. So if I don't have a resource listed that you use, please don't be offended. These are just some of the main ones that people can go to. And on neals.org, if you go to for people with ALS and caregivers, you can find all kinds of information about research that just helps us in our conversations with other people. The ALS Association, of course, I'm not blind to the fact. I know what the feeling is about the ALS Association. I have my feelings about the ALS Association, but look, they have some good resources out there that we can use, and we can share that information. Especially navigating ALS, they have some fantastic resources. They have resources that drill down into resources. So if you're looking for resources, it's a good one. Of course, I Am ALS. It's a great place to go to learn about the patient advocacy efforts and to join committees. I'm happy to share with you. I don't remember if I have a screen. I'll get to the next one, but there are so many committees and subcommittees of I Am ALS that there is bound to be somewhere that you feel like you fit in and can find people who think like you and want to be on this journey in the same way that you do. And to that end, I just want to assure you, because I Am ALS is the perfect place to do that, that however we decide to face this journey, there's no right or wrong answer. If you are angry and you need an outlet for anger, that's okay. We are not here to tell each other that we're not doing it the right way, because there is no right way. And there is somebody else out there who thinks exactly like you do, and I Am ALS can help you find that group to move forward. Of course, they have ALS Signal that we've all heard of, and you see this screen pop up on so many presentations, but it's a great way. What people don't always say about it is it does help you find clinical research, and it has great drill down capabilities if you're looking for trials in a certain phase, or trials that have a placebo ratio in a certain way, or trials in a certain country. But what people don't tell you is it also has help. So if you hover over certain things, maybe not everybody knows what a phase 2 trial is. We are so used to using those words that it becomes part of our vocabulary, but not everybody is born knowing that. So this actually gives you some of those tips and some of those helpful definitions if you need it, and has some helpful links as well. ALS Untangled. I personally love this website, not because I'm a Rick Bedlack groupie, which I am, but this is where we go because there is no treatment or cure for ALS yet. everything else that we want to know about, ALS Untangled will take on and give us a scientific perspective about. And that is so critical to me, that we learn science from scientists, and that's how we get good information out there. So ALS Untangled reviews come from us. If there's something you're interested in and you want that team of scientists to review, you can submit it on ALS Untangled, and people can vote and say, yeah, I really like that one too. Yes, I want that too. And that's how they pick what they review next. So if there's things that you hear about or you're interested, drop them in ALS Untangled and they will eventually get picked up for scientific review. So if you've looked at those reviews, they are scientific reviews, and they're sometimes really scientific, and I spend more time Googling to try to piece together what it means. So Rick is amazing, Dr. Bedlack, and a number of years ago, we decided, we'll do podcasts on some of these things, and we've done almost all of them. I think together we've done about 45 podcasts where he painfully will take one like L-carnitine and he'll answer my questions just in layman's terms. What does this mean? Or have you thought about this? Or if you're suggesting another trial, how do we get another trial? So it's just an opportunity to talk about it in real person speak and understand the science. And we also allow research ambassadors, if you see any come up or there's something that you want to ask questions about, you have a route to do that with Rick, and you can participate in the podcast. So if you're interested in that, let me know. So I also included, and if you get these presentations, these are actual links, and they're in no particular order other than alphabetical because of my OCD. So which the O really should be at the end of OCD. We need to come up with another acronym. But these are just some resources that have all different kinds of information. But as it's been stressed as we go through this, you're now considered an active member of the NEO's Patient Education and Advocacy Committee. And sometimes I talk to people, I have so many friends out there in the ALS community, and they're not all research ambassadors. And they say, well, what's the difference? Why do I want to be a research ambassador? And really, you can be an advocate no matter where you are. And we as advocates have no conflict of interest. We can belong to every organization that we want to. We can participate in every project that we want to. We just want to find a cure. We don't care where it comes from, right? So as research ambassadors, though, you are part of a scientific consortium, which is NEOS. And that's why I stressed that from the beginning, that NEOS is the Research and Science Consortium. We are the advocacy committee as part of that organization. So as such, when new research, new science, different things come into NEOS for their science advisory board to review, oftentimes those same companies and those same people come and say, we would love patient advocates to participate in writing the protocol or to talk to us about certain things. And in order to do that, we need to have certified research ambassadors through the NEOS organization. So really being a research ambassador just opens up the door to a lot of different projects or opportunities in the science field, especially, but you are of course welcome to advocate anywhere in any way that you'd like. I think this committee was originally formed so that research ambassadors could ask scientists questions, and we met, I think, once a quarter, and then we met once a month because we had more questions. I'm the queen of questions. I ask far too many questions sometimes. And so we kept meeting, and we realized like people really want to hear what we have to say as well. And so now the format of those meetings is they're an hour long. They happen once a month. You don't need to register. You don't need to commit. We will hold that meeting if one person shows up or 200 people show up. And we have research ambassadors, we have community organizations, we have pharma companies, we have NEOS members, scientists, and we all come together. We generally have 3 to 4 presenters each month of current topics. And oftentimes they present projects that they'd like research ambassadors to be involved in, which is how often we come up with our patient advisory boards. So we do that. We're going to be trying something really great, and you guys are the first to know about this in July. So for the last number of years, we've been doing this where we have presenters come in and present to us. In July, we're turning the tables, and we're going to have our first panel of experts, and they're just going to listen to us. Instead of talking to us, we're going to ask whatever questions you want, kind of like the happy hour without the alcohol. If you want to have your own wine, it's fine, but they're usually in the morning or in the afternoon. So in July, you'll get information about that you'll be invited to that expert panel to ask whatever questions you want to ask. So that's some of the cool things that being part of the Peace Committee actually brings to us. Go down. So, you know, Rick always ends his presentations with his favorite quote about a small group of people making big change. And this is really my, I don't know what I call it, my favorite quote, but live your life from your heart, share from your heart. Your story will touch and heal people's souls, because healing is such an important word in our community. And it isn't just getting better. It isn't just ridding the disease. It isn't all of those standard things. Healing is something that we bring to each other through everything that we do. So I'm really grateful for the chance to get to meet all of you, to hopefully work with you going forward. And I hope to see you. I actually will be out of town at the May meeting, so I won't be at the May meeting, but I will be there in June, and I hope to see you. And if any time in between there, you want to brainstorm on some ideas or you want to know about the current projects that are going on, please reach out. I'm happy to connect with you. So thank you, Terry. Thank you for letting me be here. Appreciate meeting all of you.
Terry, I think you're on mute.
Thank you, Matt. So thank you very much, Allison. And, you know, I hope that everyone here now is going to leave with an education, knowing something more about ALS and advocacy, and sort of thinking about where you could find your niche. I think a good place to start is the Peace Committee, because that's where you can be recruited. You know, and of course, the review process, Stacy, I hope you're chosen. And, you know, and then just finding your local organization and helping them out, telling anyone you meet about ALS. And I don't know if I'm opening the floor if anybody wants to comment or talk about anything before we close.
I wanted to say that yesterday, Matt and I were messaging, and come to find out we are from the same hometown. I don't know really Matt's story and why he's here, but come to find out he and my younger son graduated the same year from different schools, but Edmond, Oklahoma. So anyway, Matt and I are going to follow up, and it is great to see people outside of the community that I've never met before on here and take an interest, because that's key. So thank you.
And I want to thank everybody, all our newly minted research ambassadors. You guys have really, you know, this is, you were so involved that we had to cut out some of the program. Okay. That's a great thing, that I didn't have to fill space because you guys were filling it for me. So that's really great. I'm looking forward to seeing you in action. And remember, in the flip chart that we sent you, there's a place where you can read how to sign up. The Neil's Outreach Tracker. You'll get involved in the Peace Committee. We are always, all of us, and I'll thank my faculty now. I mean, you know, Lyle, Restalina, Eric, Rick. What can I say? You know, Rick and everybody else, Gary and Todd, who gave their time, Piera, everybody is committed, will help. You can email any of us. You know, just like Lyle, and I know Rick, email me. I'm gonna respond and try to help you any way I can. But my the faculty that have helped me out, oh my goodness, it's unbelievable. Thank you. And I also want to thank, you know, the team, Jamie, Sarah, and Luciano for helping me put this together. And you know, the floor is open for any other final comments, if anybody has them. Otherwise, thank you for being such an attentive audience. Yes, what we'll do, Matt's asking about emails. Sarah, if you could send out the emails of the faculty as well as all the participants, that would be great. So Sarah will, and if there's any other materials, also the certificates that you are now a minted research ambassador, and there's a certificate that we provide from Niels that says you are an ambassador. You'll get that in the mail by email as well. So
I'll give the list also to the CDC, excuse me, to the DoD, because they asked us for it and they want to know who's doing this program and learning about it. So but they do their own thing entirely as far as choosing reviewers. They don't even want names from us. So but they did ask us for the names of the people specifically who were doing the CRLI. So
I just have a couple quick things if anybody's interested. So I'm in the legislative committee for IMALS, and a couple weeks ago we tossed around, and I'm not sure if they're going to do it or not, but we tossed around, well, what are they going to do with those flags after yesterday? So I said, well, can we ship them around the country and see if we can get other people to have expanses of, lawn somewhere that we could post those. So that's kind of floating around out there. I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but if anybody's interested, you can let me know and I'll bring it back to Michael and see, what he says. A couple other things. If anybody's interested in doing any of the following, I'm really interested in the triggers and or causes of ALS, obviously, but I have some specifics. Like I've seen a couple people, including myself, who have multiple myeloma in the family. I have 4 sisters, so we're a really good comparison. I have a sister who was diagnosed with multiple myeloma at the same age that I was diagnosed with ALS, which is odd. I mean, having 2 people is odd anyway. Plus I have MGUS, which could develop into multiple myeloma, but I've also heard other people in the community with that situation in their family. That is like lightning hitting twice. So I thought that was very interesting. If anybody, has any info on that, to forward me. I'm very interested in doing anything with the FDA to getting them to speed up or take notice or, whatever. So if anybody's going to do any of that, I'd love to get involved, or maybe I can figure out, maybe I can go to IMALS and ask them if they have who they have that would be working with the FDA. And then what else? Oh, and of course, the whole issue of placebo in this field. I understand why placebo is necessary, but there needs to be, we're dying. So pretty much, the end is death. So if you can get somebody who doesn't die, you got, so I just think that that whole arm needs to be addressed. And Matt, I know you had messaged something about that. So I'd be really interested in getting involved in that as well, because, if we can figure out some other avenue where that will get more people to treatment, I was in the Healy trial. I'm on the open label extension right now, but, I'm really hesitant to get in another trial because I think I probably got the drug and I just, don't want to take another chance. Now that I've been in this 2 years, I'm a little nervous. And I would have to go back and Healy trial, obviously, because it's 2 years. I can't get in other ones. But so anyway, if any of those interest people, if you could just message me as well, that maybe we could work on something, I'd appreciate that. And also any protests. I've had 2 little protests myself, and then I was at DC, so I have some signs. So if anybody wants to do anything like that as well, I'd love to be involved, especially if it's in this area of Cincinnati, Ohio.